Hey, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be candid about everything that I feel, everything that's going on. You know, I don't usually document my mood shifts, my conscious mind shifts. I don't usually document all of this, but as a human experiencing the journey from one moment to the next, I feel like in the spirit in this human body, I just have to document how I feel and how my brain and mind is. And I'm going crazy. That's the emoji I chose. I'm going crazy emoji. Am I literally going insane? No, not necessarily, but I decided to use that emoji because I thought it would be a good description of how I feel. So, I started thinking about all of these things that are happening and how society views it. I watched a lot of I've watched a lot of the Leak Project lately. Now, he had good videos where he was showing these different devices that they put up, the government puts up. No one knows what it is, but the government puts it up, and they have all this equipment inside it, and you see them on your street. We have one near us, actually a couple of them, two of them. But you have all of these things that you have these things that all these things kind of just drive you crazy. You know, they say don't focus on the here and now and all these things. We've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting for a time of change for so long. You live in this human existence and then you suffer, and then the pain, the suffering. My mama goes through pain. I go through suffering. My brain right now is clouded. My vision's blurry. I don't feel well, and I've gotten this way my entire life. Nothing ever changes. But yet I've been told by random people, random individuals, I call them sometimes cosmic beings, these beings, these people, angelic beings, anytime, whatever, comes up to me and they'll tell me that just wait, you know, you're chosen, you're special, you'll just wait, I'm going to be used for something amazing or something great. And we keep waiting for this inevitable point of existence. I'm going to go ahead and change my emoji now, but that's how I feel right there, going crazy. People talk about this, they talk about that. Well, this is what my thought process is. You look at throughout history, there have been so many rise and falls of great empires and huge empires. Sadly, so much murder and bloodshed has taken place. The same thing repeating over and over and over and over. The same routines of just people at the bottom suffering, and they choose a leader. There's leadership. There's a bunch of leaders there making these laws and ruling over whatever, and nothing ever really changes, and we're always just sitting there, and you've got all of these leaders and kings throughout history that if they ruled with iron fist, and then people would get killed for just trying to take a carrot out of the royal garden, or trying to take some food out of the garden to eat. Meanwhile, the peasants had to pay their taxes because it was a written law by some man or some human wrote on a bill because they were royalty, and they wrote it and told them, here, now you have to pay this penalty, you must die for eating out of the royal garden. What gave them that authority or power to begin with? But then we started transitioning over and actually electing our officials, and then it's like we head upward. We're heading upward in a scale, and then you just fall downward, and then there's supposedly this great awakening that's happening now. And I know in my mind that it has to be, but at the same time, it's like, really? I mean, we've had these thousands upon thousands of years to change, and you really think we're going to change now? But here's the thing about it. You know, these past 4 years, besides this so-called pandemic, things have been slightly better. There's been more freedom of choice and expression for the past 3 years until the past year. That I will say. But when you look at history, you look at the kings, and you look at the rulers that have just... I mean, there's been bloodshed throughout history that sadly got us where we are. And they keep telling me, people keep saying, well, we're heading to this age of Aquarius. We're heading into this, and I felt since I was a child, I have felt that connection with these beings, the angelic realm, God, and just, the connection beyond and out there, just a connection that this is not our home. This is not And other people don't understand that. Human beings, they're too caught up in the moment. But then I started thinking about, you have to, why? Like, why? The whole question is for me, why? That's it. That's the bottom line. Why? Why can't we have just been chosen to go where we're supposed to go to begin with before experiencing the journey to get us where we're going? Like, since I was a child, I used to say when I was 5 or 6 years old, my soul's from somewhere else. Here I am, though. And when I get like I am right now, the suffering increases tenfold. It hurts. People have made empires throughout history. There have been rise and falls of kingdoms, and it's been non-stop. And it's like an inevitable cycle that never ends. Maybe that's what this is all about. Maybe we're heading toward the culminating process, toward the end of the very beginning, maybe finally peace. But look at an atom, you look at an atom and these particles don't realize that they're just cycling nonstop. Over and over and over and over. Circling around themselves. These kingdoms, these rulers that are on the pedestal, and then we finally get a society, a functioning society that seems like, well, it's a lot better than what we dealt with in the past. And then we rise, and then it starts falling, crumbling, collapsing. And it's like those elite individuals, they feed off of that collapsing. And that consistent rise and fall gets so old. And whatever my sole purpose is, I've had people tell me that I'm chosen. You're chosen. You're special. You're chosen. Oh, the Lord's going to use you. Jesus is going to use you. God's going to use you. It's the time of the awakening, the ascension. And so many people out there, they don't understand that. They don't understand when you talk about the awakening, beings, creatures, and they're like, what are you talking about? Beings. And they immediately think it's all evil because they don't understand it. Not all beings are good, but not all of them are bad either. But really, then again, what is the purpose of our journey, and what did we leave? What did we leave while we were here? What was the legacy that we left? And as we're transitioning to the hereon, the hereafter, what mark of energy did you make? Did you leave? I guess I'd like to know that I've done something for someone. But it feels that life is this inevitable endless cycle. I'm being real and candid by how I feel right now. I don't usually do this. But you struggle financially. You continue to struggle financially. You struggle mentally, you continue to struggle mentally. And it'll hit you like a rock. And when you hit that rock bottom, no one wants to hear you. No one wants to hear what you have to say. Because you're too gosh darn depressing. No one wants to hear you when you're at your most vulnerable moments. They want to hear you at the pinnacle of your prime. But society continues to rise and fall and rise and fall. We're at what could be one of the greatest flourishing moments. But it's being used mostly politically toward a dark direction. And I'm not talking about the president. That's not what I'm talking about. He's tried everything possible to create peace negotiations and work peaceful negotiations with other nations. And yet keep us safe at the same time. But the surrounding is what I'm talking about. This is beyond politics, really. This is supposed to be one of the greatest moments in history. And really, I've felt it since I was a child, but what is it? Do we remember any of this? Do we remember it? I'm being real, I'm being candid, very emotional, I'm sorry. My mind is so dark. And I know the Fifth World talked a lot and said that you're riding the ascension waves. Other people, you mentioned that too, and they're like, what the heck are you talking about? What the frick are you mean, ascension waves? What are you talking about? It's like, shoot, this guy's crazy. The ascension waves? Like, what's the ascension, you know? They say this is the real 2012 too, so maybe that's what's going on. Some people will say, what's the ascension? You talk about it, they think you're like beings, the ascension. What are you talking about? And then you have all these arguments over how people interpret the Bible and biblical texts. Like, well, some they argue when you die you go to heaven or hell. Some they argue, well, you don't go there yet. Well, some say, well, when you die, it's like immediate. You're asleep, so you don't know. It's like when you're asleep, you don't know. Maybe that's the way it is. I don't know. When you're asleep, you don't know. Then judgment hits. Whether that's 1,000 years or whether that's millennia, whether it's multiple millennia. I mean, whether it's right away. Some say that you don't know that time has gone by. That could be. I hope and pray for a peaceful eternity. We've had this repetitive nonsense throughout history of continuous cycles of control. I'm hoping that that's true, that the ultimate... I don't want to remain blind. I don't want to be blind to the truth. I'm still sticking in my belief in God and Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ. I'm still sticking with that. That's not the issue. That's not the point. But it's just, I'm tired of seeing these inevitable, endless cycles of destruction. And power shifts, and the whole dynamic changes, and all this happens, and then it just collapses, and then we went through, what, 100 years ago, less than 100 years ago, a Great Depression. People thought it was the very end then. And then during Hitler's stupid major crap he did, the Holocaust and all that, people thought that he was the one, he was the evil, he was the final Antichrist. That's what they thought. He even made Jews wear a mark or to show they were Jewish and then kill them all. Now we do know that they say now there's another one coming, that this is the time of the end. This is the beginning of the end of the beginning, the end of eternity. The beginning of eternity, I mean. But then you've got different interpretations of it. And it's like, well, we keep going through these endless cycles. These cycles are nonstop. And then now you see fuss about statues, and these statues tearing down, and oh, we're in a revolution. That revolution keeps being started by the media, though, by the way. If you'll notice they keep promoting tyranny and continuous division. They cannot stand it when there's an ounce of unity taking place. So they continue to divide. Those dark powers that be can't stand that their time is almost up, and that's probably what's going on. But we only know what we're aware of, and we're only aware of the societies that we've created. That's all we know with our limited human capabilities. But I'd like to see what is the beyond. And I've had so many individuals come to me and tell me that I'm chosen, that I'm special, that God's chosen me, Jesus is going to use me, that just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. They tell me every time to wait. And they talked about this, some talked about the awakening, the ascension, and I asked, who are you one time? This one particular person whose hand felt so large, like this cosmic being, and he just stopped out of nowhere and came back to me and started talking. Turned his head and smiled and said, I'm... And he looked up. He wouldn't tell what he was or who he was. It's almost like the situation around me was altered and no one paid any attention to what was going on. Then he even said a prayer with me. And he even said, in Jesus' name I pray, amen. which was beautiful and special. It's a memory that I'll never forget from 2012. And I do think, yeah, that we were going through a shift that at that time as well. I felt so bad and so painful I couldn't stand it. I can't hold it. I don't feel that I couldn't hold a job like this because the emotional, mental struggle, the mood shifts, what we're witnessing right now is foretold. It's been foretold for a long time, but so many people are so blind. They're like a bunch of people in shock therapy that continue to be shocked, and then they're shocked by what they get. But yet, if we tried to create something better, what would we really do? If people would just get the proper medical care they need, then we would actually be one of the greatest thriving times throughout history. If they hadn't created this pandemic out. To be honest. So, I mean, does it just continue on and on? I know we don't really know anything any more than what we can perceive and what we have, because our perception is limited in a human being's brain. But the beyond, like the before, the beyond, what we're experiencing now, and the after. I wish I could explain it. I can't explain it. I feel horrible, and when I start feeling like this, that's how my mind thinks. And when my mind thinks like this, it affects those around me, because those around me don't understand the way my mind is thinking. It's like my mind is thinking on a perceptive scale that's beyond the human limitation. It's like human understanding. I can't perceive it, so I can't explain it. And since I can't live what I can't perceive, it hurts me and burdens me. Whatever we're supposed to be, yeah, we have the chance to make this life the best possible life. But it feels like I don't know how I could handle work and schooling, and we have these systems in place that is all about greed and corruption and money, that the monetary value that they've made. Like, go to college, spend all that money, go to school, learn all that stuff that you could have learned by another means without spending all of that money. But you got to have a piece of paper and a degree saying that you did. I haven't gone to college. I would like to be able to, but it's just that I don't know how much time we have left. I don't know. The stress and anxiety I can't take of. I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to handle that without going insane. I barely made it through my high school. From elementary to high school. Those 12 years like to have killed me. I was in the hospital in the doctor's office the majority of it, and they'd say, "You're just a medical mystery. You're unexplained. You're not solvable." I mean, if the Lord is going to take care of us, I wish He would. I really do. I love you all so much. I want to find my purpose. I want to find my purpose of I want to heal. I want to bring truth and knowledge and love to people. And my conscious mind is burdened so much by the feelings that I go through and the emotions that I experience. But if we're going to go through all this anguish, couldn't we have just skipped the whole thing and just gone where we're supposed to go to begin with? And I know there's energy and spirituality, that's for sure, because when I've gotten high strung and emotional, crazy things happen. But right now, I'm darkened emotionally. There's something, but it's because of something beyond the scope of limited human perception, I'll tell you that. My bottom line question was why? Why? What's the point of going through something that we could have bypassed and just been able to reach the outcome. But many people have told me it's not about that, it's about the journey. So, you look at the internet, the electrical grid, this world, our body systems, its functions, the universe, beyond, everything, all has this interconnectivity and works similarly. None of this is by accident, that's for sure. I do know that. Many of the Lord's prophecies have come true. I love you no matter what. I just want to know your perceptions on all of this. It seems like to me a lot of those that talk about the Great Awakening are all in it for money. You see all of these YouTube channels out there. What are they doing? Here, do this, you'll get 10% off of this item here. You'll get 20% off of this. Here, 50% off if you subscribe now. Here, check out my Patreon and my this, that, and the other. And they make all of this money. Yeah, I mean, I have had some donations in the past, and for that I greatly appreciate it. But I'm talking about when they talk about I'm talking about these channels that talk against these corporations that are feeding the narrative of control and divide, like certain BLM part things that were going on, there were certain YouTube channels that talked about being about love, and then they'd say donate to that, and then it would support a political party like the Dems, and then that's not supposed to be that way. They're supposed to be neutral, tell the news, tell what's going on, and send love. That's what they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to be doing, all of that. And then you've had these YouTube channels, Doomsday Channels. Speaking of which, where did they go? Where have they been? There's a few Doomsday Channels that I'd say for about 10 years they talk doomsday, doom and gloom. And every time something else comes up, they have a new doomsday prophecy and date. And they make millions. And they make all kinds of money. Then they sell generators on their website, and they'll say don't support the man, don't support the government, don't support big business, all that crap. Which we live in the society that we are able to go to the grocery store and get what we need when, they've never been able to do that throughout history. That we are fortunate for, because that's all we're capable of, that's all we can do. But when it comes to these YouTube channels saying stuff like don't support this or don't support that, but then they make money from it. All these doom and gloom end of the world channels out there that say things like it's the end of the world, the sky is falling, Chicken Little, and then they say donate money. That doesn't add up. Some preachers do the same thing, and some YouTube channels do the same thing. Podcasters, radio hosts, they all do the same thing. Don't support this, that, or the other, and then yet they make money from it. So that doesn't really add up. If you really believed it was that was it, everything was over, they wouldn't be asking for money. But my question is, what was the point of the going through the journey to begin with when we could just... Our intentions are known, our heart is known, what we believe and what we feel is truly known. Why can't we just experience love and peace? Like right now, it upsets my mama to see me this way. She was, and I hate seeing her go through pain as well. I have to just be alone and be to myself when I'm like this. I don't understand, and so many out there in society, they don't understand. They're just like, well, why do you feel this way? Why do you feel that way? Like, that's just crazy. Beings of like different types of beings. Then I watched this YouTube channel talking about aquatic beings and water beings, and it's like, well, why? What is all this? Like, why can't we just focus on the here and now, let the Lord take care of us, and the Lord's promise to come true? We're going through this journey, and I know there are people on my channel that believe different things, all sorts of different things. I love you and I respect you. I'm going through my emotional roller coaster right now, and who knows, I might go to sleep and in the morning I might feel fine. And I might not. I don't know. Sometimes you have to take medicine to make your mind feel better, and then, but yet it's all a psychological and spiritual and emotional thing. Energy shift. But what's that for? That's the worrisome, problematic thing. We hope that our promise comes true. But then again, we all fall short and have lapses of faith. But where is this going? What direction is this going? And what good does it do us to focus upon it, really? Although they do say the mind is a powerful thing, and I have experienced that and been able to cause weird, strange things to happen with my mind. I'll tell you, I really have. So then again, I do know. But should we just let it be and just live in the moment and stop focusing on all of that? Live and let live and just love? Maybe that's what we should do. That's what we need to do. I love you all. I needed to talk. Signing out. I don't feel well. I don't feel right at all. My mind's blah. But these are my thoughts of the moment. Signing out. My link's below if you'd like to say hey or donate to help us out financially, whatever. Or even share with others and help share and grow my channel. It's about the journey. It's just about the journey, really. Just sharing with others and knowing that I can. I guess that really helps. Peace and signing out. I love you all. Blessings, and hopefully I'll be able to light work and do some light working for others. Just maybe I need to meditate again. Signing out. I love you all. Lord bless you.